You're listening to Where You Live with Gene Sullivan.
Welcome back. This is Where You Live. I'm Gene Sullivan, broadcasting from the True North Painting Studios. The show is brought to you by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. As an American Family agent, Kim believes that there's so much more to insurance than the policy itself. It's about providing you with dependable protection and services. Kim believes that trust and credibility can't be demanded. It can only be earned by what you say and what you do. Give her a call at 651-482-1598. Tell her Gene sent you. It's time now to hear from the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association. The MHA Minute is brought to you by Start to Finish Maintenance Contractors. Start to Finish provides 24-hour service for all your home and business maintenance needs. Call Start to Finish at 952-259-1219 for your home, for your business, for your peace of mind.
Did you know that the members of the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association, or MHA, provide over a quarter of the state's housing? That's housing for more than 1 million residents. The members of MHA agree to abide by a professional code of ethics, and they know that happy residents are key to a successful business. When you're out looking for your next apartment, remember that rental references are a two-way street. Before you rent, ask if the owner is a member of MHA. If not, ask why not, and tell them to visit mmha.com. That's two M's, mmha.com. If you're an owner or manager or even an accidental landlord, you owe it to yourself to learn how the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association, its classes, certification programs, resources, staff, and faculty can help you succeed. Don't be a good landlord. Be a great one. Visit mmha.com. mmha.com.
We're addressing an article that was written probably a little over a week ago in the Star Tribune, where someone who became a member of a townhome association just probably a little over a year ago found out that there is a lot of disappointment. And we're talking about what is disappointment in our lives. It's nothing other than, I think, an unrealized expectation. And that happens in associations, and I'm trying to deal with why do we have those unfulfilled expectations. It could be because someone's not doing their job, or number two, because someone has an unreasonable expectation. And we're trying to deal with that right now. And she, the writer of this article, was talking about the situation where she had gone to the board, said, I think we need motion light censored floodlights on our home because of activity taking place at night. We'd be better protected and more secure. And she hadn't heard from her association in a couple of weeks, and she was disappointed that they were really slow. And we're talking about what is happening. So we've talked about what some of those issues are. We've talked about the idea of finite resources, of money and time with the association. But there are other reasons, too. Let's say the board does get together to take into consideration this woman's request. They need to ask other questions because they have a finite amount of money. And if they're going to not spend it on something else, but instead give it to something else that wasn't already, there wasn't a line item for, they have to ask the question, is this a one-time occurrence or is it a continual problem? Number two, they need to ask, how much will the solution cost? They need to ask themselves, will it require us cutting other planned items from taking place this year? And here's something that I mentioned a couple weeks on the show when we were dealing with the issue of a possible mandate for single-family homes. Remember that they would have to have fire sprinkler systems in their home at the cost of thousands of extra dollars on every brand new home. You need to ask the question, does the solution I'm offering uniquely take care of the problem? In the case of the fire sprinklers, smoke detectors were protecting people's lives 96.14% of the time. If you added the sprinkler systems, that brought it up to 96.4. Hardly anything noticeable at all. It was less than 1/20th of 1% of a change. And so because of that, people could make the deciding and determination that No, for what it's going to do, it's not going to do anything. Plus, this homeowner, she needs to realize, does the association possibly have other solutions? I'll tell you one solution we had with an issue in one association we managed. We found out that we were close by a college and I think it was a doctor's office, and because of that, there were police that patrolled that area quite often. And because when this association was dealing with some issues at night, they just asked the police squad car to do a little bit more patrolling. Didn't cost the association anything. So here the association may have a different solution than what you think is going to take care of the problem and might be a lot more effective and not even cost anything. How about that? So there are other things. How about the idea that if this was happening on a street that belongs to the city, maybe the city would put up a street light, which would be done at the city's cost and might be a better way of providing light. So there are other things that need to be taken into consideration. The last example this person brought in her article was a situation of a gentleman who lives in a townhome in Rosemont for over 9 years. And she received a letter from him, and he said the association is not neighborly. He said it's forced people to be hermits. What is his situation? He had an issue where he went out to his lawn, and he noticed that there was sewage that was bubbling up onto the lawn and sitting there. So to get action from his HOA, he reported the situation. At first, he said of the sign of gray water, but by the time he said the HOA took action, it was almost a week later. Heaven forbid, almost a week, and his yard had was filled with gray water. And we wanted to talk about dealing with this issue too. What is the issue here in terms of perhaps unrealistic expectations? The sewer backup, we agree. That is something that needs to be addressed. The homeowner put in a request, but disappointed because he thought that almost a week, not a week, but almost a week was too long. But things that you need to ask yourself was, and important to understand, was there clear communication? Did he connect with someone, or did he leave a message on a voicemail? Was the voicemail left at 4:45 on a Friday afternoon, and the manager may have already left the office earlier that day to make inspections at property, and he didn't say anything to the management company that this was what he thought an emergency, so it just sat on a voicemail, not even answered until Monday. So there we have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we have 2.5 days that go by before someone even hears the message. The fact that he left the message, did the person leave, was everything well defined? It's amazing how many times people will not tell you an address, will not tell you what or describe what is going wrong. People sometimes use words like doohickey and thingy to describe what's going on. People say, well, I don't know. It's not my house, but it's 3 houses down where it's happening. And they won't tell you an address, but they expect you to go out. And then what happens? Well, then the manager's got to go out and take some time to actually inspect. They need to inspect because they need to be able to gather more information to know who's going to be the right person to be out there. Then when they get out there, then they're going to call on their vendors to respond. And if they have 2 or 3 vendors, there may be a couple that may be a day or 2 before they're able to even respond to that situation. And then once they're able to, then they're able to finally take care of the matter. But sometimes there are other things that people need to understand that could be other extenuating circumstances. And the way to get around this, good communication is a key. Everybody is responsible in an HOA to have the responsibility of good communication in that equation. Well, hey, thanks for taking time to be with me this Saturday. I hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you here next week on Where You Live.